You've been taught to fear the stranger in the dark, the obvious threat, the declared enemy, but that's not necessarily the one who is destroying your life. In fact, very often, the real assassin of your peace isn't a stranger. It's someone you know, someone you trust, someone who smiles at you. It's not a single act of betrayal that you can point to and condemn. It's a slow poison, administered in 1,000 tiny doses, in the helpful advice that cripples your confidence, in the joke that stings with truth, in the concern that breeds fear in your heart. You blame yourself. You start to believe the exhaustion is your weakness, the anxiety is your fault, the chaos is your creation. You become a prisoner in a cell you can't see, built by the very people you let inside. On this channel, we don't just look at psychology, we look through it to see the unseen patterns that govern our lives. If you are ready to stop being a passenger in your own life and start understanding the map, consider joining us by subscribing to this YouTube channel. It's your first step towards a world of clarity. In this video, we use the wisdom of Carl Jung to unmask the 5 invisible architects who are programmed to destroy your peace. And by the end of this video, you will not only recognize them, you will know how to make them powerless. Let's begin. Part 1. Jung's warning: your soul has an immune system. To unmask these architects of ruin, you must first understand the battlefield, your own inner world. Think of your peace not as a fleeting mood, but as a vital organ. It is the very heart of your being. And the great psychologist Carl Jung taught a profound truth about it. Your soul has a powerful, invisible immune system. It is designed to detect what is foreign, what is toxic, and what does not belong within the sacred walls of your spirit. It is the guardian of your integrity. But like any immune system, it can be compromised. It can be deceived. The people we are about to discuss are masters of this deception. They are artisans of emotional poison, bypassing your conscious defenses with terrifying ease. They don't waste time arguing with your logic. They target the very wellspring of your feelings. They work in the shadows of your awareness, disrupting an important journey a person can undertake. The journey Jung called individuation. This is not merely a path of self-discovery. It is the process of becoming whole, of gathering the scattered pieces of yourself into the unique and complete person you were created to be. Their presence in your life is a constant, low-grade fever of the soul. It keeps you fragmented, exhausted, and questioning the very ground of your own reality. But how do they do it so effectively? How do they slip past the guards of your mind and get straight to the command center of your soul? What is their secret key, their master password to your inner world? The answer is at once brilliantly simple and deeply, tragically human. Their secret key is you. They do not come with a foreign weapon forged in a distant land. They come to you empty-handed, because they know they can simply walk into your armory and pick up your own finest sword. They turn your greatest strengths against you. Your empathy becomes a vulnerability they can exploit. Your desire for harmony becomes a tool to silence you. Your deep capacity for love and forgiveness becomes the unlocked door through which they walk again and again. They take the very light you shine into the world and use it to cast a long, dark shadow over your life. They weaponize your goodness. This is the heart of Jung's most urgent warning. The most dangerous threats to your spirit are not those that launch a frontal assault on your fortress. They are not the ones who challenge your strength head-on. The most dangerous threats are the ones who are welcomed inside as friends, the ones who praise your compassion while using it to bleed you dry, the ones who admire your loyalty while twisting it into an obligation that serves only them. Understanding this principle is the first, most critical step to reclaiming your power. You don't need more armor. You don't need higher walls. You simply need to become a wiser steward of the keys to your own kingdom. But it is important that you understand all these words with great wisdom. After all, there are those family and loved ones who truly value you, love you, and wish you only good. Appreciate them. And as for everyone else, we'll talk about them now. And so we come to the first architect of ruin. This one is perhaps the most maddening of all, because their attack feels so deeply, woundingly personal, yet it has almost nothing to do with you. They make you feel judged, flawed, and constantly falling short. But what if I told you that when you look at them, you aren't seeing a judge? What if you're just looking into a distorted mirror, one that reflects back all of their own unowned darkness, their own secret shame. As Jung so powerfully foretold, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Are you ready to stop calling it fate? Let's unmask the first type, the one whose demons have learned to wear your face. Part 2. The Mirror of Lies. When their demons wear your face, we left off with a haunting question, a premonition of one of the deepest betrayals the human spirit can endure. What happens when another person's demons learn to wear your face? This leads us directly into the heart of the first type of person who will dismantle your peace, the Shadow Projector. To understand this architect of chaos, you must first grasp one of Carl Jung's most profound ideas, the shadow. Imagine that every soul has a hidden basement. In this basement, we store the parts of ourselves we refuse to acknowledge in the daylight. Our untamed envy, our secret insecurities, our buried anger, our quiet greed. A person committed to growth, to wisdom, to wholeness, understands that their life's work involves taking a lantern and courageously walking down into that basement. Not to indulge what they find there, but to understand it, to clean it, to bring it into the light of conscious control. It is an act of supreme honesty and responsibility. The Shadow Projector refuses this sacred duty. They have slammed the basement door, locked it, and thrown away the key. They live in a state of self-deception, pretending the darkness below doesn't exist. But that darkness, that unowned energy, doesn't just disappear. It festers, it builds pressure, and eventually it forces its way out through the only crack it can find: your character. They take everything they cannot bear about themselves and hurl it onto you. You become the unwilling screen for their private horror film. Have you ever been called deceitful by someone who is pathologically dishonest? Accused of being attention-seeking by the very person who must always be the center of every room? Have you been labeled controlling by a master manipulator? If your soul is screaming yes, then you have been in the crosshairs of a shadow projector. They aren't truly seeing you when they look at you. They are seeing a distorted reflection of their own disowned self, and they are screaming at it in terror and disgust. It is a desperate, unconscious attempt to cleanse themselves by contaminating you. The experience is maddening, a psychological whirlwind designed to throw you off balance. But what if there was a way to stop the storm? What if you possessed a simple tool, not of aggression, but of profound clarity, that could instantly short-circuit their entire mechanism? A single calm question that forces them, for one terrifying moment, to stare into their own abyss. That tool is not a weapon, it is a mirror, and the secret to using it is coming. First, you must understand the true danger. The greatest risk is not that their accusations will convince others. The greatest risk is that they will begin to convince you. Their words are often like poisoned darts, expertly aimed at your own pre-existing insecurities. If you secretly worry you aren't generous enough, they will call you selfish. If you fear you are too emotional, they will call you dramatic. This is their genius. They make you an accomplice in your own character assassination. The true poison isn't found in their words. It's the single drop of doubt they plant in the fertile soil of your own heart. And once it takes root, you begin to water it yourself with your own self-questioning and anxiety. This is how your peace is not just stolen, but systematically dismantled from the inside out. So how do you hold up that mirror? What is that powerful, clarifying question? The next time you are standing in the storm of an unjust accusation, the next time their shadow is cast upon you, let the chaos settle. Take a calm breath, and with genuine, gentle curiosity, not with anger, ask them, "That's an interesting thing to see in me. Why do you think you noticed that in particular?" Or a variation. What is it about that idea that resonates so strongly with you? Notice the shift. You are not arguing. You are not defending. You are not absorbing the poison. You are gently but firmly handing it back. This question doesn't invite a fight. It invites introspection, something the projector dreads. For a fleeting second, the spotlight swings back onto them. You are no longer the screen for their movie. You are just a person holding a mirror, and the reflection can be startling. You are refusing to carry the burden of their unexamined life. Deflecting the fiery arrows of the shadow projector is a vital skill. But what happens when the threat to your peace is not a fiery arrow, but a quiet, creeping fog? What about the person who never attacks you with anger, but drains you with an endless ocean of need? This next type is far more subtle and, for the compassionate soul, far more dangerous. They don't take your peace by force. They convince you to hand it over willingly, piece by piece, until nothing is left. We are about to enter the quiet, devouring world of the emotional black hole. Part 3. The black hole of pity, drowning in someone else's sadness. It's important to understand that the journey to restoring your peace of mind is far from over. We now move from the loud chaos of false accusation to a threat that is terrifyingly quiet. A threat that does not arrive with a storm, but with a creeping fog that slowly chills the air, dims the light, and seeps into the very marrow of your bones. This brings us to the second architect of ruin, the one who destroys you not with anger, but with an endless, devouring need. The perpetual victim. This is not the person navigating a genuine, temporary season of hardship. We are all called to bear one another's burdens in times of true crisis, to be a harbor in a storm. No, this is different. The perpetual victim is someone whose entire identity has been built upon the unstable foundation of their own suffering. Their pain is not an experience they are passing through. It is the house they live in. Their stories of misfortune are their currency, and your empathy is the price they relentlessly demand. And you pay it. Of course you do. You are a person of compassion. You see their struggle, and your heart naturally goes out to them. You listen for hours, you offer thoughtful advice. You pour your time and your emotional energy into their seemingly bottomless well of sorrow. But you've begun to notice something unsettling. Nothing ever changes. No advice is ever taken. Every solution you offer is met with a new, more complicated problem. Pouring your light into them feels like trying to fill the ocean with a single cup of water. It is a constant, draining, and utterly futile exercise. It feels right to help, doesn't it? It feels like the most noble, the most virtuous, the most loving thing you can possibly do. But what if I told you a truth that might, at first, feel cold and shocking? What if the single most compassionate and spiritually courageous action you can take for a perpetual victim is to stop helping them? What if your help has become the very anchor that holds them to the sea floor of their own despair? Understanding this paradox is the key to both your freedom and their potential healing. Every time you rush in to rescue them, every time you solve their self-made crisis, you become an accomplice in a terrible deception. You are unintentionally validating their narrative of powerlessness. You are sending them a clear, soul-crushing message. You are too weak to handle this on your own. You are incapable of finding your own solutions. You rob them of the sacred opportunity to face their own challenges and, in doing so, to discover the incredible strength and resilience that God placed within them. You become the crutch that prevents their own spiritual muscles from ever developing. In your noble quest to ease their burden, you accidentally steal their strength. As a result, your peace is systematically dismantled, and they remain trapped in the prison of the story they tell themselves. A story you have helped them to write. So how do you break this devastating cycle without becoming cruel or abandoning them? You must redefine what it means to love them. You must transform your support from active intervention to steadfast belief. Instead of being their problem solver, you must become a faithful witness to their potential. The next time they present you with the latest chapter of their ongoing tragedy, resist the powerful urge to offer a plan. Let go of the need to fix it. Instead, listen with quiet presence, and when they are finished, look them in the eye and say, with genuine, unshakable conviction, "That sounds incredibly difficult. I have total faith in your ability to find the right way through it." Feel the shift in that statement. You are not offering a solution, you are offering respect. You are not giving them a fish. You are reminding them that they were created with the capacity to fish for themselves. You stop treating them like a fragile object and start honoring them as a capable, if struggling, soul on their own unique journey. This is not abandonment. This is the highest form of compassion, a love that is brave enough to believe in another person's strength more than they do. The perpetual victim drains you through their proclaimed weakness. But what happens when the threat to your peace comes not from weakness, but from an overwhelming display of supposed strength? What about the person who drains you with their perfection, their flawless virtue, their saintly kindness? This next architect of ruin is the master of disguise. They don't wear the victim's mournful frown. They wear a radiant, benevolent smile. But you must be warned. Behind that beatific smile is a hidden ledger, a silent accounting of every good deed they have ever done for you. And one day they will come to collect the debt. Are you ready to unmask the angel? Part 4. The Angel with a Hidden Knife. Unmasking the Kind Manipulator. We have just learned how to step away from the quiet, devouring fog of the perpetual victim. Now we must prepare to face the most confusing and insidious saboteur of all. We move from the person who drains you with weakness to the one who disarms you with a counterfeit strength. This is the third architect of ruin, the angel with a hidden knife. In the world of psychology, this person might be called a covert manipulator, but that clinical term fails to capture the sheer spiritual vertigo they induce. To understand their method, we must turn to another of Jung's essential concepts, the persona. The persona is the mask we present to the world. For most healthy individuals, this mask is a useful and flexible social tool. For the angel with a hidden knife, it is a weapon. Their persona is a masterpiece of deception, a flawless mask of perfect kindness, unwavering support, and humble generosity. They are, by all appearances, the nicest, most selfless person in the room. And yet, after every interaction with them, you walk away feeling strangely diminished. You feel confused, off balance, and filled with a creeping self-doubt. They give you a compliment that somehow feels like an insult. It's so brave of you to wear that. I could never pull it off. They help you in a way that makes you feel utterly incompetent. They sow seeds of discord between friends with a gentle, concerned whisper. I'm only telling you this because I care about you. They operate with the precision of a surgeon, making incisions so clean you don't even know you're bleeding until you feel the life draining out of you. How do you fight an enemy who never declares war? How do you defend against an attack that is disguised as a hug? It feels impossible, a maddening dance with a phantom. But what if there was a simple psychological map, a hidden blueprint that could instantly reveal their entire strategy? There is. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. Their true genius lies in their defense. Because their persona is so perfect, so saintly, any attempt you make to question their motives immediately casts you as the villain. If you point out a contradiction, you are being paranoid. If you express your hurt, you are oversensitive. If you refuse one of their generous offers, you are ungrateful. This is a masterful form of psychological warfare, chipping away at your peace by forcing you to distrust your most sacred inner compass, your own intuition. Your gut screams that something is profoundly wrong, but their angelic performance convinces your logical mind that you must be going crazy. They are not just attacking your peace, they are attacking your sanity. The secret to breaking free is to stop looking at their actions and start seeing the hidden game they are playing. That psychological map is known as the drama triangle, a treacherous landscape with three roles: the victim, the persecutor, and the rescuer. The angel with a hidden knife is a master of this game. They begin by playing the noble rescuer, showering you with help and favors you never asked for. But behind their smile, they keep a hidden ledger, a silent accounting of every good deed. The moment you push back, question them, or assert your own will, they instantly switch roles. They become the wounded victim, and you are expertly cast as the cruel persecutor. Suddenly, their friends look at you with disdain. You are the one who has wounded this gentle soul. The only way to win this game is to refuse to play. Do not accept the role of persecutor by lashing out in anger. Do not try to become their rescuer by appeasing them. And most importantly, do not engage with their fragile victim narrative. Simply observe the game from the outside. You must see their kindness for what it is, a transaction. It is not a gift of love. It is a down payment on future control. By quietly disengaging, you are not being cruel. You are practicing a higher form of wisdom. You are refusing to build your relationships on the unstable ground of manipulation and debt. You are choosing truth over performance, but you must be able to distinguish them from truly sincere altruists who help everyone from the sincerity of their soul. After all, even God says that people must be helped. Most importantly, you should monitor all their actions, whether they start billing you if you disagree with them on something. The angel with a hidden knife attacks your self-worth with a subtle, sweet-tasting poison. But what about the person who attacks your future head-on? What happens when the person who should be your biggest cheerleader becomes the quiet saboteur of your dreams? This next architect of ruin isn't subtle. They don't hide their weapon behind a smile. They are the assassin of your ambition, and they aim directly for the heart of your potential. Part 5. The assassin of ambition. Why they poison your dreams? We have unmasked the angel, seeing the hidden transaction behind their perfect smile. Now we must turn to face an adversary whose attack is not subtle, but brutally direct. We move from the saboteur of your self-worth to the fourth architect of ruin, the one who aims their weapon directly at the heart of your future, the assassin of ambition. You felt their presence. You come to them, your heart alight with a new idea, a new project, a new hope. It is a fragile, beautiful flame you have chosen to share with them, and they meet that sacred fire with a bucket of ice water. They call it being realistic. They claim they are just playing devil's advocate or only trying to protect you from disappointment. But feel the energy behind their words. Listen beneath the surface of their logic. It is not the gentle caution of a loving guide. It is the cold, heavy weight of a poison designed to paralyze you. They poke holes in your plans, magnify every potential obstacle, and hold up a mirror that reflects only your past failures. They are the anchors who call themselves harbors. It is infuriating. It is demoralizing. Your spirit, just moments ago soaring with possibility, now feels heavy and chained to the ground. Your natural instinct is to fight back, to argue, to defend your dream, to prove them wrong. But what if that is the very trap they want you to fall into? What if their bitter criticism, as painful as it feels, contains a secret, powerful gift for you? A gift that could turn their poison into the very fuel your journey requires. Here is the profound truth you must understand, a truth rooted in the deep wisdom of the human soul. Their negativity has almost nothing to do with your idea. It has everything to do with their own abandoned life. Carl Jung taught that the journey of individuation, the sacred process of becoming the whole and authentic person you were created to be, is the central task of a meaningful life. The assassin of ambition is a person who has, for whatever reason, surrendered that journey. They have laid down their sword, abandoned their map, and decided to camp in the familiar territory of regret and resignation. So when you arrive full of courage and light, ready to embark on your own great adventure, your presence is a painful reminder of the quest they abandoned. Your light doesn't just illuminate your path, it casts a harsh glare on their stagnation. Your courage doesn't just inspire, it silently highlights their fear. When they say, be realistic, what their soul is often screaming is, I was too afraid to try, so you must be too. Your success would make my failure unbearable. They are not trying to save you from disappointment. They are trying to save themselves from the pain of seeing you achieve what they were too frightened to attempt. So, where is the secret gift in this cloud of negativity? It is this. Their doubt is a diagnostic tool. It is a precise, unsolicited, and incredibly valuable audit of your resolve. You must learn to see their every criticism not as an attack, but as an instruction. Every weakness they point out is a direct invitation to fortify your plan. Every what if they throw at you is a precious opportunity to deepen your own I will. Every doomsday scenario they paint is a chance for you to build a stronger shelter in your own mind. You do not need to win their approval. You do not need to convert them to your cause. You simply need to listen, thank them for showing you where the cracks are, and then go back to your work with a renewed focus. Use their resistance as a whetstone to sharpen your own resolve. Let their skepticism fuel your discipline. Transform the poison of their fear into the antidote of your preparation. This is how you reclaim your power. You stop seeing them as a judge and start seeing them as an unwitting personal trainer for your soul. And also pay attention to their criticism. Is it constructive? If so, then take the advice and move towards your goal. You don't need to discard all advice. Sometimes people share their unsuccessful experience, but experience nonetheless. Always keep this in mind. We have met those who attack you with their shadow, their neediness, their manipulation, and now their fear. But the fifth and final type is perhaps the most tragic of all. They do not come with a weapon you can see. They don't attack with criticism or drain you with weakness. They destroy your peace with the most powerful and disarming force in the universe: love. What is this prison built from the purest of good intentions? And how on earth do you escape the golden cage when you don't even realize you're in it? Part 6. The Prison of Love, Escaping the Golden Cage. We have now stared down the assassin, the one who tried to poison our dreams with their own fear. But as we arrive at the final architect of ruin, we find that the most devastating attacks are not born of malice or envy. They are born from what looks and even feels like love. We have now reached the fifth and most tragic destroyer of your peace, the one who builds you a prison and calls it a home, the keeper of the golden cage. This is not the straightforward tyranny of a cage made of cold iron bars. This cage is gilded with affection, padded with comfort, and locked with a key of unwavering devotion. This is the parent who, out of a desperate need to protect, continues to solve every problem for their adult child, ensuring they never learn to stand on their own. This is the partner who proudly proclaims they take care of everything, slowly stripping you of your competence and your connection to the real world. This is the dear friend who, under the sacred banner of caring for you, advises you against every risk, every challenge, and every meaningful opportunity for growth. They don't want you to be unhappy, so they ensure you are never truly tested. They don't want you to fail, so they ensure you never truly strive. This is the greatest, most subtle barrier to the sacred journey of individuation. Because to become whole, to gather the scattered parts of yourself into the person you were created to be, you must face the world. You must be allowed the dignity of your own struggles. You must make mistakes and learn from them. You must feel the sting of failure to truly appreciate the grace of success. The keeper of the golden cage, in their quest to shield you from the pains of life, robs you of life itself. They are not protecting you. They are disabling you. The cage is so comfortable. The food is brought to you. The storms rage outside while you remain safe and warm. The thought of leaving, of facing the wind and the wilderness on your own is terrifying. But what if the deepest, most agonizing fear isn't about the struggle you might face outside the cage? What if the real paralysis comes from the guilt? What if opening that door feels like the ultimate act of betrayal to the very person who built this sanctuary for you, the person you love? You must understand this with absolute clarity. This form of love is often a projection of their own untamed anxiety. They cannot bear to watch you struggle because it makes them feel helpless. They are not serving your soul's divine purpose. They are using your life as a tranquilizer for their own fears. Their comfort is purchased at the expense of your destiny, and with every passing day you remain in that cage, the spiritual wings you were given to soar with grow weaker, atrophy, and threaten to become useless forever. So how do you escape the crushing weight of that guilt? You must reframe the nature of the betrayal. The true betrayal is not in leaving the cage, it is in staying. The greatest act of faithlessness is not to the person who lovingly imprisoned you, but to the powerful, resilient, and whole person you were born to be. The ultimate treason is against the unique purpose that was woven into your very being. You must lovingly, but with unshakable firmness, present yourself with the real choice. It is not my freedom versus their feelings. It is this: their comfort or your life. When you see the stakes with that level of stark spiritual clarity, the choice becomes terrifyingly obvious, even if the path is not easy. They genuinely care about you. That's true. To avoid hurting their feelings, you need to very carefully express your opinion to them that it is difficult for you to be in such a cage. We have now unmasked the 5 architects of misery: the Shadow Projector, the perpetual victim, the angel with a hidden knife, the assassin of ambition, and the keeper of the golden cage. You have the knowledge. You can see the patterns. But knowledge without action is not wisdom. It is merely a heavier burden to carry. So what is the master key that unlocks every one of these cages? What is the one sacred art that, once mastered, will become the ultimate guardian of your peace for the rest of your life? Jung pointed the way, and it is simpler and more profound than you can imagine. This is not just another strategy. This is the ultimate weapon. Part 7. The Sacred Art of Setting Boundaries. Jung's Ultimate Weapon. We have walked through a gallery of shadows, unmasking the architects who dismantle our peace piece by piece. We have stared down the projector, the victim, the false angel, the assassin, and the loving jailer. Now we stand at the end of that dark hall, not in despair, but before a source of brilliant light. For every prison, there is a key. For every poison, an antidote. For all 5 of these destroyers, there is one master weapon, one ultimate defense. It is not complex, it is not aggressive, it is the sacred art of setting boundaries. Let's be clear about what a boundary is, because this idea has been distorted. A boundary is not a wall you build out of anger to punish someone. It is not an act of aggression. It is the loving, honest, and calm demarcation of your own soul. It is the quiet, firm declaration of where you end and another person begins. Think of your soul as a sacred garden entrusted to you by God. A boundary is the fence you build, not to keep the world out, but to protect the precious life you are called to cultivate within. It is not about controlling them. It is about taking faithful stewardship of yourself. For the Shadow Projector, the boundary is the clear and simple statement: I will not serve as the screen for your unowned darkness. My character is not yours to define. For the perpetual victim, it is the compassionate refusal. I believe in the strength God gave you too much to participate in your narrative of weakness. I will not rescue you, but I will stand as a witness to your resilience. For the angel with a hidden knife, it is the quiet turning away from the game. I will not engage in relationships built on hidden ledgers and silent debts. I will trust my own God-given intuition. It is the practical application of radical self-respect. This sounds powerful. It sounds liberating. But let's be honest about the terror that grips your heart when you consider it. What happens when you finally draw that line in the sand? When you finally say, with a shaky but determined voice, "This far and no further"? What happens when they explode with rage, or dissolve into a flood of tears, or look at you with wounded eyes and accuse you of being selfish, unloving, and cruel? In that moment of intense pressure, the doubt screams, "Did you do it wrong?" This is the critical test. This is the moment the journey becomes real. We have been conditioned to believe that a smooth interaction is a successful one. But when you set a boundary with a person who has built their entire emotional strategy on you not having one, a smooth reaction is the last thing you should expect. Your boundary is a direct challenge to the dysfunctional system they depend on. Your newfound peace is a direct threat to their familiar form of control. You are changing the rules of a game they didn't even want you to know you were playing. So did you do it wrong if they lash out? No. You must burn this truth into your soul. Their negative reaction is not a sign that your boundary is wrong. It is the ultimate confirmation that your boundary was desperately, tragically necessary. Their anger, their tears, their accusations, these are not a judgment on your character. They are simply data. They are the frantic, flailing response of a system that has just lost its power over you. Their reaction is not your responsibility. It is their own spiritual work to do. Your only responsibility, your sacred duty in that moment, is to hold the line. To stand firm in the truth, not with aggression, but with the quiet, unshakable dignity of a mountain. You now have the key. You understand the lock. You have seen the blueprint for protecting the sacred space of your own soul. So what now? What do you do tomorrow morning when the theories of this video meet the reality of your life? How do you take this life-altering knowledge and transform it into a life-altering reality? This is where the real work and the real freedom begins. Let's talk about the first day of the rest of your true life. Part 8, Reclaiming Your Peace. The first day of your true life, here we are. At the end of one journey and at the beginning of a far more important one, yours. This is the first day of your true life. We have walked through the shadows together, unmasking the shadow projector, the perpetual victim, the angel with a hidden knife, the assassin of ambition, and the keeper of the golden cage. But the purpose of this journey was never to fill your world with villains to be feared or monsters to be slain. The purpose was to give you a map, to give you the divine gift of clarity, to return to you the power and the stewardship over your own soul that was always, always yours. As the great guide Carl Jung taught, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And today, right now, in this moment, you are choosing to stop calling it fate. You are choosing to pick up the pen and write your own story. Now, with this new map in your hands, you may feel a powerful, righteous urge, an impulse to march back into the world and confront the architects you have just recognized. You might want to show them this video, to hold it up like a mirror and say, "See, this is you. This is what you're doing." You will want to explain their patterns to them, to fix them, to heal them. But what if I told you that this very impulse is the final, most subtle trap? What if the entire goal of this journey was never to change them at all? The ultimate truth, the one that is at once the most difficult to accept and the most liberating to embrace, is this: you cannot change them. You cannot heal their wounds for them. You cannot descend into the basement of their soul and integrate their shadow on their behalf. You cannot force them to grow, to see, or to understand. That is their sacred journey, their personal path, their own conversation with God. To interfere in that is not an act of love, it is an act of profound arrogance. Your journey is the only one you have been given command of. The sole purpose of this knowledge is not to begin a crusade to reform the world, but to begin the wholly essential work of reclaiming and protecting yourself. The goal was never to change them. The goal was to change your response to them. The goal was to change what you are available for. The purpose is to become so deeply rooted in your own God-given worth, so fiercely protective of your inner peace, that their chaos, their projections, their manipulations simply have nowhere to land. A soul that knows its value is like a polished stone. The mud of the world can be thrown at it, but it will not stick. Their poison requires you to be a willing vessel. When you reclaim your own integrity, you seal the vessel shut. Their strategies only work in the darkness of your unawareness. By bringing this knowledge into the light of your own consciousness, you render their old games powerless. Your peace is not a luxury. It is your divine birthright. It is the sacred, fertile ground from which your purpose, your joy, your creativity, and your ability to truly love others grows. It is the quiet center from which you can serve the world with strength and wisdom, not with the drained energy of a depleted spirit. Guard it, not with anger, but with the focused, loving fierceness of a faithful steward protecting a priceless treasure. If this journey has opened your eyes, do not keep this map to yourself. Share it. Share it not as a weapon, not as an accusation against anyone in your life, but as a lantern for other souls who may still be lost in the fog, wondering why their life feels like a constant, draining battle. In the comments below, we invite you to do one small, powerful thing. Share one aha moment you experienced while watching this. Your single insight, your personal moment of clarity, could be the key that unlocks a cage for someone else who is reading. It could be the spark that helps another soul begin their own journey home. Thank you for walking this path with us.